simply to re-establish justice. In order to express myself freely, like the owner here does express himself freely by just letting these houses empty. So I took the choice and the freedom to simply occupy these solid empty houses.
I squat because the people are great, because I feel like I'm belonging to something. I'm not just living in like a house somewhere with people I don't know or people I might not get along with. Instead, I'm living in a community of people that I like, and I know we all agree on the same like principles of living, and we all are respectful of each other's privacy and stuff. So I think it's great.
Obvious reason to squat is because in low-income neighborhoods, in low-income neighborhoods where they're now just tearing down family houses and putting up condominiums, there's no room for like empty houses to be left open for like 3 years, 4 years, or even a year or a few months. So we move in until they're going to do something with them. Although I still oppose the idea of any yuppie condominiums being built in my neighborhood. But I squat because the buildings are open and they should be used for people in transition. And I'm in transition between homes and between jobs.
Because I'm really taking control of my housing and my life.
I squat because for the past couple of years I was living in downtown hotels, paying $500 for between $400 and $500 hot and cold running cockroaches, and now I'm using the waste of my culture, and I've found, since I moved to the squats 6 months ago, like-minded people that I have been probably looking for my whole life. Even though everybody here does their own thing, there's still a solidarity and not wanting to become part of the working class.
Because I couldn't afford to eat if I didn't. I couldn't really afford to eat well enough if I didn't. Rents are too high.
I don't think I have that kind of perspective on my life to be able to say why I do anything, really. And I met William while I was tree planting in the northern part of this province, and he found out that I was going to Vancouver, and he said, "Do you have a place to live?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Move in here. There's a women-only space." And it was the women-only space that originally brought me to the squats. I was very excited to find a place, residence that was women-only, and I moved right in, and here I am today.
I was at the camp for the Oka Warriors and the crisis there. I was camped out at the art gallery for a month, and I came in contact with a lot of people from the squats. They came and helped and supported the camp, and so this was an alternative for me. I haven't paid rent in about 2 years.
I squat because I want to squat. Squatting is it has become something that I really enjoy doing, and it's very fulfilling for me. It's very personally empowering. I'm taking control of my own destiny. I also squat because of the broader political picture. The squats have become a hub of political activity here in Vancouver. I feel very at home here. I feel respected, loved, empowered, and I feel privileged to live here.
Actually, I'm going to start from somewhere else, and that's from people who have brought up the idea of making these places into co-ops. And I'm not interested in making these places into co-ops because co-ops are a form of affordable housing, but they're not a free space. And I'm not interested in being integrated into the system. I'm interested in fighting for our own space, and I think this is what it's all about, is about free space and having our own space. You know, you can live in Richmond and have the most radical ideas but always be depressed, you know, or you can be in Robson Street and be the most radical person, but just everything around you, the shopping malls or the people, the way they're dressed, you know, it's all hostile because it's all saying all the values that are applied, you know, in the cars and the whole basic physical reality is all saying you're wrong, right? And it's all saying that your beliefs aren't possible and that things will never change. And so it's disempowering. And so what we have to struggle for is for, you know, our own space, a space that implies our values and implies our possibilities. And I think that's what these squats are, right? You know, I've always said that one of the funniest things is that you know, most people in these squats would never call themselves anarchists or whatever, but the basic common sense of everyday life in the squats is anarchist, you know, whether people know it or not. And so that's what people express, you know, as just basic common sense thing. I think too, a big thing in for these places in developing like a radical movement is the fact that your everyday life is illegal, that your everyday life in a way is resistance.
My life has changed in that I've really seen what it's like to live with people, to live in a community and to share with people. And that has really affected my life in how I view the world.
Well, I've sort of realized how difficult it is to live with a group of people, but how much it's worth the trouble.
Since I've been at the squats, I've been a lot happier. I've grown to respect myself more. I've had like a lot of help from people to like myself more, to be more sure of myself, to stand up for myself and what I believe in. And squatting in itself, like the more I squat, the more I'm standing up for what I'm believing in. So it's all just kind of helping each other and making a person feel great. So squatting is the best.
Just recently I became aware of the fact that for the first time in my life, I'm 25, and for the first time in my life, I am finally receiving the respect that I feel every other human being is getting and deserves. And I feel that the squatting has really allowed me to grow as a person and develop myself both politically and intellectually. And I've been freed from the shackles of rent paying. I've been freed from the shackles of the whole lifestyle that goes with being a rent payer. life here is really free in a lot of senses, and I've been freed from the obligation of being employed and being a slave to the state. And I really get off on that kind of idea.
Since I've come to the Francis Street Squats in Vancouver, I found love.
Future of the squats here?
Yeah.
Of these squats?
Not just of these squats or
My future or
the future of these squats or of squatting in general?
Well, what I think of the future of squatting in general is that there's a group of people in this city, and some of that group of people have managed to get themselves together, and there's groups of people like us in every major city across Canada and North America and the world. And so what I see is we're going to be getting together eventually, or our children will be, and then all this will be ours anyways.
For squatting, squatters' right. For sure, like you see many places in Europe, like in England you have squatters' right, in Denmark you have squatters' right, or something definitely done about housing and the amount you pay for housing.
Well, unfortunately, I'm not an optimistic. I think the future is pretty sad as far as I can see. But I mean, if people keep on squatting, this will be more normal, and I think civil liberties might just, increase if we keep on expressing ourselves.
Yeah, well, I think it's going to have to get it's going to have to get worse before it gets better. But the reason that Canada is going to become more radical is that the right is becoming more and more powerful in this country. And when the right becomes more powerful, the left also becomes more powerful after a certain period of time. And we're learning how to become radical and what to be radical about. And it is going to be scary, but change is scary. And only out of change can you make something better.
I do, because, especially around the squats, because this is a free space, and they come here to exploit our lives, so they can make some money and have, it's supposed to be some, chewed up, spat out entertainment for masses of people who don't appreciate what we're doing here one bit. And
you get the feeling of being like in a circus too?
Oh, sometimes I feel used, really used, and sometimes I'm embarrassed too, and but they come over to our house sometimes, like early in the morning when everyone's sleeping, and they expect to be able to come into the house and do interviews or something, and when we walk outside early in the morning, in our bathrobes, and they're across the street with their cameras rolling, and it's really annoying, and sometimes we have to tell them to fuck off.
I think people should have the right to ask you questions, but you obviously have the right not to answer, right? And
I'm still not sure I see the point of the barricades. I think that it may escalate escalate the tensions to such a degree that they get out of people's control, that violence may happen. And I don't know if we as a group are prepared to deal with violence. I think there are some individuals who are, but I'm not sure if as a group we can, and I think that's really important, that the group solidarity is maintained. I'm not sure if it's going to be helped by the building of barricades or by violent resistance. But I mean, over the last little while, I've also come to accept the position of the barricaders and to understand why they're doing it.
I really support the barricades. I think it's a really important action. But I don't want to be part of it for the many reasons I have stated in meetings, on meetings, upon meetings, about just not wanting to live in a prison, like in some house that has no light. And I see it very much as some macho bullshit trip. Sometimes I get really annoyed that it's such a male-dominated sort of thing. Like a bunch of men hammering nails in.
Are going, yay Berlin, yay fucking Paris, right? And here we have the exact same thing in our fucking front yard, right? And everyone seems to have a problem getting involved. So personally, I'm feeling, I'm feeling like people are being a little
okay,
hypocritical.
do you think people would, if we had 100 people, do you think people would have a problem? Or if we had 1,000 people, do you think people would have a problem being involved?
We don't have 1,000 people. We're not going to get a fucking 1,000.
But then why do you think people?
And I'm not going to wait.
Then why do you think people are making the distinction between here and Berlin or Paris? Because we don't have 1,000 people. I mean,
no, because people are full of shit.
It is concretely a different situation. It is.
That's bullshit, Keith.
1,000 people and 1,000 people. It's completely different. You can't say to me the situations are exactly alike.
The situations are different because one is in Berlin and one is in Vancouver, right?
And one has 1,000 people and one has 1,000 people.
So what, man? I don't care. I don't need a fucking, now you're the one who's talking about cloaking yourself in a group and having the cushion of a group. I don't need the cushion of a group
my
to
group
vent
is
my
going to be
anger.
all doing the same action as me, right? There's going to be unity.
I'm sorry, like, I'm just not able. I'm just not able. I'm not willing to put my anger on hold at this point. I think that it's important that, I've come so far in my ability to relate openly and honestly with people, right? That there's no way that I'm going to backward move by lying to the public and saying, that this is appropriate for me to lie down and go limp. I'm sorry, but, I'm going to be really angry if I get out there and, like, 3 squatters jump me, as I'm throwing a rock. Like,
okay.
That's just fucked.
But see, that's the way people, that's for sure that there are people out there who are looking at it the same way. That, in a way, your actions jeopardize them.
Into my home and take apart my fucking art and fucking take out my fucking furniture and put it in a fucking barricade that I have nothing to do with it.
Go and take a look at my place.
I don't care. You wanted part of the barricades.
No, I say the windows smashed. Who did that?
Well, don't ask me, man. Don't bring it up.
Get
Like,
uptight
the part of the barricades is
Don't get uptight at me, man.
You're telling me,
I'm not
came here telling me the
nothing.
barricades have to go up and that I'm taking away your choice. You took away my choice when you put the barricades
Once
up.
the cars are gone, those barricades are going back up.
And I'm pissed.
Where were you when that happened?
Asleep with my fucking girlfriend in another squad.
And who's responsible for that?
I don't know. I guess it's barricade supporters, i.e. fucking big white strong males, fucking punker people. I don't know who's part of it, man.
So did you just take it on yourself to get out there and pull the barricades apart?
I suppose I did. I got a couple other squatters that had expressed an interest in getting the barricades down and said, let's do it. They did it.
But there's a little bit of an imbalance here, okay? Because I support your action. I am giving you support, right? I am not going to stop you or impede you in any way, right? But I'm not getting support for my action. I'm not at all. You know, myself and the other people that are going to do it are completely isolated from the rest of this community, and that is totally fucked, because the only reason that we're doing what we're doing is because we believe in what's been created
But
here,
why
and
do you
we
think
wanna
you're
save it.
isolated, though?
I probably don't know.
Guess. Take a guess why you think people are why you're isolated.
I think I can assume because people are afraid.
Well, the reason is that the barricades by most are felt to be symbolic, and they're supposed to be a symbolic show of resistance against the police that are coming to evict the people. And there was no point. That was not expected to happen until 8 a.m. this morning. It's now 9:30, going on 9:40 a.m. on Friday, November 23rd, and I would have expected that the police would have been here to serve the court injunction. They haven't showed up and done that yet. But there was no point in having the barricades until the police were going to come. And so putting up the barricades at that point was just provoking an early confrontation, which wasn't felt desirable by some people.
There's a bucket in the wallet in the pocket of the uppie in the condo in the hole where my home used to be. There's a bucket in the wallet of the head, the uppie in the condo in the hole where my home used to be. There's a hole. There's a hole. There's a hole where my home used to be.
Sure, dude. What's going to happen is that we're anticipating, you know, the police to arrive probably in a vehicle, and then we're going to try and persuade them to leave the vehicle by, like I said, you know, concreting it, like throwing concrete. Once they get out of the vehicle, we don't want to hit them with concrete, right? So we're going to use the donuts to hit the police officers, the actual humans, with. I heard that there were like 3,000 people in, I think it was the United States of America, right, who held off like lots and lots of riot police by throwing marshmallows at them, right? Because see, the police, they operate on this like microchip in their brain, you know? And if you fuck with it, right? If you fuck with the microchip, you know, then they get really confused and they don't know what to do. So they have to retreat to regroup and get their shit together, you know, in their head, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you to remove the barricades. I'm prepared to give you the number for you to call. And we're not doing anything as far as the evictions go. That's not our concern right now. We don't have an enforcement order from the Justice of the Supreme Court to do anything about this at all. Our concern right now is with the barricades. We cannot barricade streets and not allow other people free access to the streets.
When will you receive an enforcement order?
I have no idea.
Could it be today?
I would strongly doubt it today as far as an enforcement order.
And then that follows the weekend as well. Want a cup of coffee?
Yes, I wouldn't mind. Thanks.
It's cream and sugar.
No, I'm fine.
Right?
Is that a clean jar?
Yeah, oh yeah, we just washed it.
All right.
Everybody else has been drinking
Now,
it.
I would like to come back in a half an hour, okay, and I would like to see some work being done on those barricades and the fires put out. It's causing a concern for a whole lot of people in the city. You're not gaining any support whatsoever by blocking off highways.
Why do they have to fucking throw some poor people out when the landlord or else the people, the management of these premises can't even let these people pay for their rent and then they refuse it?
So you support squatting?
Definitely.
How do you feel about this? Because I feel angry that you guys have taken the fight away from the real homeless people. I always
that's
felt,
not true.
I
That's
always
not true,
felt that
'cause
you
there's
guys weren't
real
the real
homeless
homeless
people.
I care about housing, and I care about the homeless people. But you know what I always felt? I always felt that you guys were young. Most of you are all white, and you're all capable of working.
No, look around.
You're all capable of working.
There's not
and,
one
and
kind
if you
of homeless
can't work,
person.
then there's other alternatives, isn't there?
Well, we're not looking for a confrontation today. I think that if we explain our position, then it's probably the best way all around. What we are concerned about is the barricades on the street and the fires. We've asked you to move them, and I'd like to know what your intentions are at this time.
I think we're trying to get in touch with our lawyer, and at the point when we can be sure that no enforcement order can come through today, we'll take the barricades down.
Okay, well, we're not concerned about the enforcement order today. Okay, our concern is with the barricades.
Right. Once we can find out for sure that that's not a problem.
Okay.
We'd be quite happy to take them
All
down.
right. Is somebody going to make that phone call then?
Right.
It's being pursued right now.
It is? Okay, and how long do you think that's going to take?
As soon as our lawyer can get back in touch with us.
Okay.
Well, I think it would be really taxing on everybody if the barricades had to be kept up for 2 days or 3 days. It's really going to take a lot out of people. I think after 8 months of waiting for this to happen, it would be good for it to all come down today.
Penny, you decided to take the barricades down collectively as a group after you received a promise that there would be no eviction attempt this weekend.
That's right. So essentially today is a victory for us. We put the barricades up, the barricades are coming down, we're taking them down, and we're not going to be evicted today. There won't be an eviction.
So if the landlord goes back to court on Monday and seeks and receives an enforcement order to evict you, can we presume that the barricades will go back up then?
I think that it's very hard for me to say, and because we're a community and we make our decisions as a community, I can't tell you definitely the barricades are going to go back up.
So at this point, you're just going to hang in for the weekend and wait to see what happens on Monday?
Yep.
Okay, Doriana, so you heard what Penny said. The barricades are going to come down at 1:30 this afternoon. Traffic will open up again on Francis Street, and I guess we may face the same situation on Monday.
So the barricade comes along here to the fence of Eco. Along here, we chose this idea because there's already a fence here to make as a base. Goes out into the street. Actually, that's wrong. No, it just goes, whatever. Goes out into the street, takes over part of the street, not taking over all of it because we have neighbors and they have lives too. And we're trying to be, good for the community. Down along here to the side of the token squat and making the square.
Okay, so is this barricade, is it complete?
I couldn't say.
Oh, obviously not.
Is any barricade complete?
You have to propagate. You have to sit people down and propagandize people so that they fully and totally understand what's at risk here, and then maybe what's at risk becomes more important than their fear. And that's what happened to me. That's why I'm able to be at the position where I'm at, because I feel that what's here is much more important than the pain I'm going to feel when someone bonks me on the head with a stick.
That it's, I think that this is a better thing. Like, I think that squatters that are physically into the barricades or have the energy to expend, like, we can support our comrades like we've always wanted to, without feeling like we're being dragged into something part of, not a part of our politics or whatever.
So everybody's pretty united, eh?
I feel like I'm united with my comrades again. I don't know how they feel.
Yeah. Is there an enforcement order for the court injunction?
I'm not prepared to discuss the occupancy of the houses. We're dealing now with the barricades only.
So you're only prepared to discuss the issue of the barricades, not the issue of the squats themselves.
That's correct.
We would like to discuss both issues together in joint.
The issues are not connected. And what I'm saying, and I'll repeat myself, is the barricades must come down, and I'm asking that you do it voluntarily. And I'm asking that you start taking them down so that they're down within the hour. Why don't we just start taking the barricades down? You know that they have to come down.
Is there being a decision made?
We're still discussing.
Okay, why don't we just start taking them down, because you know they have to come down. Fair enough?
I think they'll clean the stuff off the street and that's it.
Think they'll arrest people?
No.
Really?
No, I don't think they'll arrest anybody.
You want some coffee?
It's not their problem. Why should they get involved? It's not their headache. Their headache is stuff out in the street and maybe the lane being blocked, but that's their only headache. They're not worried about what goes out as far as the houses because it's not an illegal act yet.
Right, they're staying.
I was stalling.
Yeah, but But how long will we stall before we tell them that we're just going to keep it up?
Until they move on them.
Oh, so
That's
in
how I
other words,
figure.
we're not going to tell them. We're not going to say anything really. We're not going to say that we're leaving the barricades up.
I don't like talking to cops.
Yeah. You mean if they don't come within 2 hours, they aren't coming, you think?
Hard to say, but I don't think they'll come at night.
Yeah, okay. So what's the feeling here amongst the squatters, or how do they, how is everybody dealing with the pressure?
People seem to be doing okay with the pressure. There's really good positive feelings about what we're doing, and I think we've got a really solid core of support. And
I'm not very easily intimidated by like large groups of people or by anything. I was swarmed by the press twice on Friday when the barricades first went up, and I was like terrified. I'd asked someone actually to come with me, and a friend was like holding my hand, standing beside me. Someone was on the other side going, I want to get a clear shot of her, I want to get a clear shot of her, because I was speaking, and grabbed, my friend and started yanking him, and he's trying to hold his ground to stay by me, and he's, almost being lifted right off the ground. Just this afternoon, the press tried to climb over the barricades, which just shows their utter lack of respect for what we're doing here, and their bloodthirsty kind of attitude, and they're just manipulating us now. They're just here to manipulate us.
Well, when I was out here this morning putting things on the barricade, I listened to some of the kids getting ready to go to school, and I thought they sure sounded excited that there's something very interesting happening in their lives today. So yeah, something to look forward to when they come home from school.
there's a lot of police outside, and it's starting to look like they're going to get really heavy on people when they come in here.
It's 20 to 10 on Monday, no, Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
Okay, there's riot cops out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of riot cops in between all the houses. We've got them in several of the houses in this neighborhood. I can see them across the field that way. There's a group. There's cops in groups around back. And one of the squatters saw a squatter who tried to get out of here so that he wouldn't get arrested, get arrested in an alley about a block and a half from here by 3 cops, and it looked like it was going heavy on the person. I don't know. I have no idea.
Police say they've seen some of these people before, hanging around the houses. They were trying to get back in when arrested.
22.
There's a pig for each of us in here. Some remained defiant, even as they were arrested.
You don't want to do that. You want to slap me?
What is he holding, man? What are you fucking holding, dude? Is that a gun? Is that a gun or is that...
Ask him.
Hey, get out of there. Get out of there. Right back.
It appears the barricades made out of mattresses and assorted furniture, lumber pallets, old Ringer washing machine.
Social housing, squatters, any of this stuff is not the issue anymore. We're faced with a group of criminals now that have stockpiled weapons, including firearms, in a house, and that's exactly the way we're treating them. We are expecting to find at least 3 shotguns, 2 handguns, and an assortment of other weapons in the houses. People couldn't care less about social housing. They're bent on confrontation and have repeatedly expressed their desire within the group to kill a policeman.
Police weren't taking any chances. They'd been told the squatters were armed, with at least 3 shotguns and 2 handguns. City dump trucks were called in to seal off the area and serve as police barriers.
But we are forced to take up arms. We're forced to arm ourselves and live in houses that have no natural light. And I'll fucking show you who I am. This is where we live. We made this out of nothing. All of us standing here were empty buildings, and they've been empty for months and months and months. And there's thousands of people sleeping on the street in the fucking freezing cold. And I'm not gonna make myself do that when I see the waste of my fucking culture sitting here.
Hey, bud. How long are you going to hang around?
Hey?
How long are you going to hang around?
Well, we don't have a choice.
You're leaving now?
No. They're not letting us leave.
Yeah, I know. But they asked us to leave, like, to go in 10 minutes, to go to walk down to their station. Are you going to do that?
To their station?
I mean, down to where they're posted, down the block.